Hey everyone, how's it going? I'm Peter Bragiel. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing something different. You had questions and I'm going to try to answer some of those to the best of my ability. But before we jump into those questions, I want to give a quick shout out to these postcard senders. This one is from Franz in Hamburg. He writes, I recently discovered your travel blog/vlogs and I really enjoyed it to read and watch your videos. Very nice job. Keep going on with that, please. Will be great to get a sticker from you. Best greetings from Franz in Hamburg. Thank you. You're getting an in transit sticker. That's coming your way. And then this one comes from Hi from Lovely Kid in Japan. We're sending you greetings from our snowy Hokkaido because it was a great adventure and we know you'll love it here. This is a beautiful postcard from Hokkaido, but unfortunately there is no return address here. So if you're watching this video, please email me, peter@intransit.tv. Send me your return address and I'll send you an in-transit sticker. And to anyone else who is interested in receiving one of these limited edition in-transit stickers, my mailing information is in the description below. Send me a postcard, you will get a sticker. Okay, let's answer some questions. Okay, YouTube. This question comes from 3BGR, and she writes, I wondered if you have any ideas for a female who's wanting to travel as you do, or travel alone. I'm hesitant because of the safety issue, so I wonder if you or anyone you know has tips, advice, words of wisdom. Thanks. Obviously, being a female traveler has different concerns than a male traveler, so do your research before you're setting off on your adventure. And just so we're clear here, when I travel, I never travel alone. For the most part, I'm always traveling with another person or a small group of people. You might get the impression from watching my videos that I'm this solo backpacker, but in fact, there is a camera guy that's filming the experience, or there is someone else who's joining me on that trip that's behind the scenes. So for new travelers, my recommendations is definitely to find someone to travel with. If you can't find a travel partner, use the internet. There are plenty of resources out there like the Thorntree forum by Lonely Planet. Here you can find fellow backpackers who are going on similar trips. But if you do insist on going by yourself, chances are that you won't be traveling alone for a long time, especially if you visit these popular backpacking destinations. There are so many like-minded backpackers that you will bump into people and make friends very early on. And obviously the basics, avoid traveling through places at night, stay in populated areas, be conscious of the type of clothing you wear. I know that's unfortunate, but some countries aren't very tolerant with women who expose certain parts of their body. So yeah, be mindful of all that stuff, do your research, and I can't stress language. You know, it's important to understand the basics so that way you can communicate and also express yourself while abroad. I hope that helps. I might just make a dedicated video to this and bring on like a guest female traveler. The next question comes from Nilsta, and he asks, I'm sure you've talked about in the past, but how and where did you do your first travels? Any particular advice? Yeah, okay, so growing up, we traveled quite a bit as a family, from road trips all around North America to extended excursions like a 3-month camper van journey throughout Europe. So when I became independent, I was confident and comfortable with traveling because of my experience growing up. My first trips were the obvious. I did road trips with my buddies around the United States, which eventually led me to traveling to Hawaii, where I went to university, and that opened the doors to me then traveling international. I went to Europe, I went to Southeast Asia, but my advice to young travelers is to kind of slowly start pushing the boundaries. Start in your hometown and then push it, you know, go to the next town, take a train, walk. Travel is a mindset. It's about venturing out. So walk out that door and just go in a direction. Now you're traveling, and then get comfortable, and then, you know, start getting creative. I think if you're young, you have to be creative with how you travel, especially with limited resources. You might not have money, but you can find ways to you know, offer up some of your skills in exchange for travel. Find a boat that you can crew on. There are a lot of people who need crew members to help them sail their boats around the world. So if you're comfortable with that, you might be able to jump on a boat. You know, there's sites like Culture Go, HelpX, Workaway, where you can work in exchange for travel. So if you don't have money, you can find ways to work for your travels. Tarek writes, what is the one most important thing to bring on a trip? Gotta bring your identification. I know that's an obvious answer, but gotta bring your passport, okay? If you don't have a passport, get one now. Get one yesterday. You need to have your passport. Even if you're traveling domestic, I urge you to bring your passport, because you never know when an opportunity is gonna present itself when you're traveling, and the last thing you wanna do is to turn something down because you left your passport at home. All right, Brandon Baker and a few people on Snapchat asked, how far in advance do you plan a trip? Do you like planning everything out, or do you prefer to leave some things unknown? A lot of the trips I go on are passion trips that I've been planning for a long time, like the Mississippi River, for instance. I was thinking about that trip as a young kid, so I've already done my fair share of research before I even travel. But once I commit to a trip, I'd like to give myself a couple months to just like get in the mindset of going to that particular part of the world or going on that particular trip. I like to generally plan the trip out. Where we start and where we end is very important. Everything else in between is pretty much loosely planned and open to deviation. That's pretty much how I like to do it, because this gives me the opportunity to just embrace the unknown and just go with the flow and then find those magical moments. If I were to put too much pressure on an itinerary, I feel like I would miss out on some amazing experiences. That's just me personally. And then you also ask, do you know what the video is going to look like before you go on a trip? Do you already know the type of shots you're going to get? Similar to how I plan my trips, I have a general idea of how I want a trip to look and feel, but it's way too difficult to predict the events that are going to occur. So it's important for us as filmmakers to always be ready to capture the random moments that happen. Okay, Brian Walters asks, on your canoe trip down the Mississippi River, was there anything that you took that you felt was not warranted or took up too much space? All right, this is a pretty good question. For those of you who don't know or are new to my channel, a few summers ago, my brothers, a friend, and myself traveled the entire length of the Mississippi River. On a trip like that, you pretty much get rid of anything that is weighing you down. So after like a couple days, we created a pretty efficient system of stuff. However, I asked my brother if there's anything on his boat, and he reminded me of something, and it was this.
So yeah, the most useless item that we purchased on the river trip is this thing, the bear vault. We thought that we were going to encounter bears on the trip, and by day one, we realized that was never going to happen. And we ended up with this thing that was very difficult to open. And the idea is that, you know, they can't open it, but that also meant it's not easy for us even to open. So outside of it being really cumbersome to get anything out of there, it was also not waterproof, so we couldn't really put our phones or any other belongings. So in the end, we just stored bug spray, sunscreen, and random stuff like that. Don't get a bear vault.
All right, now let's hop on to Snapchat. This question comes from Kai Schloss, and they ask, is it mandatory to know basic Russian to tackle the Trans-Siberian Railway? Yes, I think if you want to get the best experience possible, it's important to know the basics. That coupled with some sign language and also being confident and comfortable with embarrassing yourself will go a very long way. Know how to say, I don't speak Russian. Не понимаю по-русски. Говорите по-английски. Do you speak English? Excuse me. Извините. Thank you. Спасибо. Get those basics down, it'll go a long way. I say that about all of my adventures. Learn the local language. Last but not least, Phil Walkie. If you guys aren't following him on Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube, he's a very talented traveler. Go check him out. He asks, when traveling with kids, is it more of a great family vacation or a great family challenge? It's both. Traveling with family is very different than traveling for yourself, as you can imagine. Once you make that mentality shift, that it's no longer about you, that it's about the greater good of the family, everything is smooth sailing. There are some challenges, but there are some extreme rewards with traveling with family. We've been enjoying it. We're waiting to get our son's passport so that we can take him internationally. It becomes an addiction of sorts. It's definitely a challenge, but I love a good challenge when we're traveling. So, you know, it might seem daunting at first, especially when you don't have kids, but once you have kids, you know everyone's personalities and interests, so everything kind of works out in the end. Okay, I think that's it for the Q&A session. Thanks for coming on here. Thanks to those who asked the questions. And of course, if you guys want to do this again, leave a question in the comment section below. I know I may have glossed over some of the answers here in this video, but I was trying to cram a lot in a short period of time. So if there's something that I need to touch on some more, we can make a dedicated video to that particular topic. Okay, so thanks guys. Make sure to like this video, subscribe if you're brand new, and if you already are subscribed, go ahead and hit that notifications bell so that way you can get alerted of any new uploads. All right guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.